Hello. What are you doing today? My name is Sigung Bobby. I am a student of Grandmaster Bob Suttle. Grandmaster Bob Suttle, get off your phone, stand up, say hi to everybody.
I didn't have my hair. Sorry.
Grandmaster Bob Suttle. We're part of Kaji Kebble Suttle Impact. We also do Filipino, Indonesian martial arts as well. Basically what I'm here to show today is not necessarily just knife technique. The thing that I was kind of going with, the concept that I like to work with, is I like to do something that's different than a lot of the knife demos. I don't like just trying to show you some knife techniques. So this is how you hold a knife, this is how you do with a knife. So we got these are angles, that sort of thing. So sometimes it gets a bit redundant. It's the same old stuff. I don't want to do the same old stuff. So what basically the concept is that I'm going with today is I want to show relation of blade awareness. Now blade awareness I'm not necessarily talking about. A lot of times you talk on like knife fighting forums, that sort of thing. Blade awareness is just having a blade in the equation, which is part of what it is that we're going to be talking about, having a blade in the equation. Always think that there's a blade there. But how blade awareness and having a blade in your hand, how having a knife in your hand relates to empty hand techniques, and how the two relate and don't matter at all. How the reason that just because I have a weapon in my hand doesn't change anything, but yet it's changed everything. Does that make sense? Just because I have a weapon in my hand, I shouldn't be changing the way that I move entirely, because you train so much as far as martial arts go. If you're a martial arts, not just somebody that's a knife fighting aficionado, like that's your main thing is to do knife fighting. But we try and train everything. And the thing is that when we're training everything, I don't want to try and have a myriad of techniques for this and a myriad of techniques for that. I want to be able to have the same techniques work in a lot of the same manners. So when it comes down to a heavy situation, a grisly situation, as a lot of times that it is, and we come down to gross motor skill, and fine motor skill is way out the door, that we don't have to change things. I don't have to go for a knife or grab a knife or be in a situation, and then all of a sudden I go, and then I hesitate. It's a problem. But it's just doing the same movements that I'd always do, that I'd always work with, and that it doesn't change. Just because I put a tool in my hand or a weapon in my hand doesn't make it any different. I shouldn't be causing different angles. I shouldn't be causing different things. It should be all the same. So what I was going to do a little bit was I was going to start out with kind of a little bit of a review. I don't know if anybody was here last year for the demo we did last year, besides this gentleman. What we did last year is that one of the drills that we do as far as the Joneswan Jikundo and some of the Wing Chun that we do is Chi-Sao, if anybody's familiar with Chi-Sao. Chi-Sao is just a sensitivity drill. And what I've done with the Chi-Sao is, a lot of times, is I've added the blade to the Chi-Sao. So what I want to do is I want to review a little bit of what we did last year, and then go into it further and not spend a whole lot of time just in the Chi-Sao portion of it. Because sometimes when you're just up here and people are watching you Chi-Sao, but so what Chi-Sao starts with is it's a sensitivity drill, and so it's to know where your partner is going to be as far as if he goes to punch here, we have these movements to start for trapping and striking. I know that if he goes to punch here on this side, I can move these ways. We can start doing different. It's feeling, it's movement. And what this relates to in a real life scenario is if we're here, whatever. Now I'm in this thing. We just crashed into each other, and now we're here. So where my openings are, and in this, when you find a lot of jiu-jitsu guys or whatever, it ends up being kind of like trying to grab a hold of each other or trying to do things. Or if you find boxers, it ends up being sort of this sort of thing, and you guys are just clipping back and forth. Where with us, I go here, I have an opening here. Or I can use this to get to my weapon, or I can use these as coming out from the outside and start doing these things, or getting into a grappling situation. So Chi-Sao is the sensitivity of finding a soft and nice way to hurt my opponent. A real simple, easy way. Like there's an opening here. There's openings here. That we can find the openings So it helps us find these little openings. So as I was doing it and we were working some knife stuff, there's adhering drills where you're adhering to knowing where, get your knife on. We're adhering to the weapon because I don't want to let the weapon get away. I don't want him to start being able to do this sort of thing. So now I'm trying to fight it and we're doing this. So there's adhering drills where now we're just moving with it and trying to stay together with the whole thing, controlling the situation, but always keeping in contact of where that knife is for when I got to get rid of it. So when we were doing those things, we kind of put the two together and we put chisao together with the knife. And so we're doing the chisao together with the knife. Now everything changed. Chisao stayed the same, but things changed. The angles were more definite. So when I was empty-handed, and I would do this punch here, okay. So I'm gonna do this punch here. He's here, but he blocked the punch. Good sensitive on his part. It has blocked the punch. But with this sort of thing, if he blocked it in the same manner without moving his body offline like he just did, he gets cut. So now he had to move his body just a little bit. So it made our lines a little more definite. So we started using the chisao with the knife fighting, so it gets into these really close situations where the trapping that I did before, sorry guys, I'm trying to, without a place to put it, I have to try and maneuver that. So the trapping that we did before in regular chisao, we're doing these sort of things, or, oh, I like this one. This is the one I want. So we'll do this one here with these sort of things, doing that sort of a punch where it comes around on the outside, that sort of thing. Now we use the knife, and we use the knife in just the same way. We're here, this comes around, that sort of way. So it's the exact same movements. Doesn't matter if I'm ice fit or I'm standard. We're here, blocking. Okay, so we have the same movements. So what the knife put into our chisao is to make things a little more definite. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I got you here before, maybe you moved back and I missed you, but not with the knife because it's gonna clip. So that's what started. That's what started with that knife chisao that we were doing before. Blocking here, these sort of things, bringing us back, using our traps the same way we did before, but now the knife lended to help. So that makes sense. It kind of turned into something that we started doing a whole lot as it kind of worked out. It included and again, I'm trying to just illustrate like the hooking and things that you do. So if let's change gears a little bit. So let's go like empty hand. So if we're gonna go empty hand, no, you keep your hand. If we go to like an empty hand disarms, with disarming, the hooking, moving portions of it, we can still do with the knife. You still move the same way, where I'm using the puño. I'm just getting my fingers a little bit out of the way, pushing up and using the puño the same way to disarm the knife. Or here, it's the same way, it's the same movement. So again, it's illustrating that the knife doesn't change that. There's so many times that I have students, they do that and you go do the movement and they want to go. Now you're opening your hand up and you're moving the things around and it's not conducive. So what I try and drill over and over again is, don't change anything. Don't change anything at all. It's the same movements. Does that make sense? So, going back to the chisao thing just for a moment, is illustrating what we did last year, and that is just going through and finding these movements that we do empty hand. That's fine, whatever, I don't care. Here, and just using that knife to try and do the same thing. Even got him to cut himself. So here. Cut himself before. Trying to get incidental cuts in there.